Let's go.
Number 1 draft pick, baby.
That's the silver lining from today, I guess, right? You know what I mean? And then, I guess what you could say, dog, is, with that horrible start, I think there was a good response, in the middle of that game. But yeah, we'll talk about it, though. I think we'll get deeper into that shit. But I'm definitely not with the narrative of this team has quit for sure. It's just we're just not that good, man. We're just toward big fucking cornerbacks, you know what I mean? Or I like our defensive line, what they were doing after the first couple things, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, man. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for the season to be over. I don't care who wins the Super Bowl. All 30, the rest of we're part of the 31. The only team that I can actually see winning the Super Bowl right now, for me personally, is going to be Detroit, because it's kind of like background of the Raiders, been hurt for a long time, and they're kind of come up, so it's kind of like I'm looking at it like that. But look everybody else.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting, fellas. That's all I can say. This is going to be an interesting long ride for the rest of this.
Oh, man. Hey, I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. Like, this last week, I had a couple things that land on the days that we're supposed to actually go live and shit like that, but, dude, it's been hard. It's hard to be a Raider fan right now. It's so hard. Last year, we had some hope. Like, there was a little bit, you know what I mean? We got rid of McDaniels. We were happy, you know what I'm saying? And then I got the new coach, 64, and the whole
right. Yep.
That kind of gave us like a little bit of hope, man. But we've been hurt all over the place, and we've been just fucking destroyed, bro. Like all the ways across the board. We're down to fucking Joshua. I don't know his middle name. I was gonna try to come over his middle name. Joshua Maximus Ritter is our quarterback now, bro. But it's been one of those seasons, bro, man. But welcome to RaiderNationLive. I'm your host, Lowe. We got Renegade 420. We got Turf over there in the corner. He's gonna be showing up on the Sunday shows with us. I know he's working all day today. He does if you guys go over there to go follow him, you start right when the game starts, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I love doing those live watch parties, man. It's pretty cool, man. You know what I mean? To hear other people's perspectives right there, timeouts, commercials. It's cool, man. And it's better than watching it by myself and just with my sons, if you will, on a Sunday when I'm used to being in the stadium around everybody. So I don't mind it.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, shit, man. So man, so we're here, man. Sorry about all week long. Like I said, that was all my bad. I had a bunch of shit going on, birthday parties, work, and all kinds of shit. So but we'll be here for the rest of the week, and then we got off season. I can't wait for off season to start already, bro. Like let's just go. let's just start playing because it's so much easier. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't like, well, we lost again. Fucking and then the commentators, bro. Talk to me about these commentators, man. Well, the Raiders haven't won in the last 2.5 months. I'm just like, oh, god dang, like it's just bad all the ways across.
It is bad.
There was just some bad calls too, dog. Today, like there was just some bad calls today. I was just seeing shit like that. That stupid ass blindside block was a horrible call.
Yeah.
That other call too that they made, dog, with no call. You know what I mean? To what's his name? To Aiden O'Connell. I don't know how you don't call that.
Yeah. When he shoved him after the play. Yeah.
A lot of bullshit. You know what I mean? A lot of bullshit. But at the end of the day, I like I said earlier, you know what I mean, at the beginning of the show, I like the way that they responded, you know what I mean? They went down 14-0. They could have fucking just, packed it in. They're in Miami. Could have just been like, you know what, they could have been just blown out, you know what I mean, like usual, you know what I mean? And I just like the the response from the team. They had 10 unanswered points.
Yes.
Could have had more, but you know what I mean. Aiden made some horrible fucking decisions. You know what I mean, before he got hurt, and it's just that's the reason why we need a quarterback. You know what I mean. But you see some potential with these young guys. You see some potential with the offensive line too. But it's just that's really, I think, what this part of the season is for right now. You know what I mean? More about the evaluation of the young guys and all of that shit. And I like the way that the response was today, because they could have easily packed it in and made it an easy narrative for after the game and said, look, exactly what we were like. Could have made it easy for all those fans that are on that narrative of did this team quit on AP and all of that shit, and I just didn't see that.
Nope. Yeah. There's a lot to take away from this game. You know, just looking at the way the season has fucking progressed and just went basically just downhill. You know what I mean? But I don't see a lot of the quit. I don't see a lot of the what people or the narrative, ESPN, because I try not to watch anybody's podcast. Not that I don't want to support or anything like that. Right. I'll jump in live. I want to come with my own take, not say copy or anything like that. I'll see little things here and there, but I go off of my own analysis. I hardly ever read anything, and I'll take a couple, you know, pointers from like, you know, different guys. Like when I say if I jump on yours, you know what I mean, anybody else's real quick. I kind of just listen a little bit, you know what I mean? But I try to just look at it my own way. And the way I'm seeing it, bro, is that like these guys never gave up on them. It's just bad plays, bad quarterback play, bottom fucking line. The defense is struggling with the injuries and all that stuff. No quarterback play to keep them off from getting injured and, you know, acquiring all that stuff. But a lot of these young guys that have stepped up, they've stepped up. They've done their thing, you know what I mean? I've seen what's the name? DeCamerion was doing this thing today. Holmes stepped up, got burnt a couple times. A lot of bad calls. A lot of bad calls in all these games that we've been losing. Horrible. But, I mean, you know, we can't really go backwards anymore. We're here and we're now. So it's like now we're the number one spot and we're just going to keep moving forward, man.
Like even that pass interference by fucking what was his
Jack
name?
Jones?
Fucking
Jack Jones?
Yeah, by Jack Jones. Bro. Like, that dude has his arm like this, bro.
Right.
And like it's literally trying to get himself. He's pushing off, and he's using that arm to like get back into the play. Like, how is that pass interference? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that call either. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I like that's all I can say really. I like the grit that the defense showed. You know what I mean? I know at the end of the game it wasn't they kind of messed up. You know what I mean? But I will say that, you know, I think from that, after when it was 14-0 up until like, you know, probably the start of the fourth quarter, that defense was the reason why we were in the game. You know what I mean? Because the offense just kept giving the ball up, even though this was one of our best games in you know what I mean, turnovers and shit like that, which was a surprise too. You know what I mean? That's crazy. First fumble recovery all season. You know what I mean? And that was a great sight to see too. Amari Burney, you know what I mean? Amari Burney came in there, you know, caused the fumble. That was nice to see. You know what I mean? It's cool to see some of these young guys getting the shit that they're you know, the experience that they're getting. But it's like it's easy to say that we're tanking, but it's also, dog, you can see the personnel that's out there. You know what I mean? It's just we're short-handed like by a lot, dog. You know what I mean? Like they were talking about you know what I mean? They were talking about the Buccaneers being short-handed, and that's like, for the Raiders, it's just like almost like an understatement, dog. Like that's crazy, bro. Like it's crazy where we're at. I mean, it's cool though. Like in some positions, we finally found something worth it. You know what I mean? Because I mean, Sincere McCormick's a bright spot. You know what I mean? As
Bingo.
you know what I mean? Sincere McCormick will probably be one of those bright spots that, you know, like you didn't. We were all quick to like maybe write him off because he had never touched the field, but I mean, you see right now, like he has that little bit of wiggle, man. He finds the hole. He's small. He's hard to take down. So, I mean, I'm not saying he could be the future, but he damn sure reminds me a lot of like a Rashad. You know, what was his number of the fool that was with us, our third down specialist for a long time.
Madison. Yeah,
no, our third down for a long time. Remember, Jalen Richard.
That was my
you know what I mean? Like
Jalen Richard was that dude, bro.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like he could be that type of guy. Like I'm not saying he could be our next running back of the future and all of that shit, but he has some real good potential. And like you see, he has that wiggle. Now he could catch the ball out of the backfield. So you know what I mean? He could be a good guy to keep on this roster. But you do still have to address the running back position for sure. I think you have to address a lot of shit, but the number one thing we see, and again today was an example of it, dog. Like the quarterback, bro. Like I fuck all of that shit that I guess Mark Davis said at the beginning of the week, where he's not forcing them to pick a quarterback. I think that's all more of like maybe they didn't like all the last year shit where, you know, AP was kind of making it, you know, that's probably the one thing I will say, like, I kind of thought AP shouldn't have done, where he was just making it too known, like what guy he wanted, what position they were trying to go for, and all of that shit. Where, you know, I know that that teams that were calling, they were fucking, they knew that like the Raiders were desperate for a quarterback and shit like that, which it was obvious, but
yeah, there was no getting around that.
It was obvious, but it doesn't help when like you're making that shit known too. Like the new head coach is like, damn, we need a quarterback, we need to go get this guy, we need like. But I would say like I think that's the number one thing on our list. We have to go get that quarterback. We've seen that shit today, and we've seen it all season.
Well, I will say this, because I don't know. I mean, obviously, a lot of our peoples, right, run through these these shows right across the board. I don't know how many people have been watching me from this side of the world, but I can assure you, I was absolutely one of the first and absolute foremost people to support and let people know about Sincere McCormick. I've been in Texas for 17 years. He played at UT San Antonio, which is right down the street. And I've been telling anyone that wanted to listen, the kid was a diamond in the rough. He's who he is, him, and was him. It's just when we got him, he had a full-blown knee. Up until that point, he's never had injury issues. And he's a rock star. Go look at his stats as far as college is concerned. Sure, I get it. UTSA isn't a huge college. Right. Regardless, the kid can ball. I've been telling people this for the longest. And we still, not really giving him a real true shot, if you will. Don't get me wrong. I 100% agree we need another running back, period. Whether he's the guy or not, we still need another running back. Yeah. So absolutely, we need to go draft somebody. But don't be so quick to just think this kid can only be a Jalen Richard. This kid very well possibly could be the next best running back that the Raiders has ever had. I'm just letting you know.
I mean, it's only up from here. I mean, he's shown that he can run between the tackles. He's shown that he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got that wiggle. So like, it's there. You know what I mean? It's just going to show. I mean, I think the only thing I think the biggest thing is probably his size like that, but that can help him out too, because you know what I mean. It's hard to take him down. He's small.
You want to know what size he is?
No center of gravity.
Yeah, I do get it, but guess what? He is literally the exact same size as Emmitt Smith was, 5'9", 205.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's that probably would be the only thing, like the knock on him probably right now. Yeah. But I like what I see from him, because I was one of the quick ones to be like, damn, we haven't seen him, so it was like kind of hard to like put too much on him. Like I remember at the beginning, it was like when we first picked him up and we redshirted him and stuff like that, I was like, okay, maybe we got something there. But then when you didn't see him the next year, because I know he had an ACL injury or something like that, but
yeah, no, he blew it all out. ACL, MCL, and PCL. He blew it all.
Like we're thinking like, okay, maybe that just passed us by, but I think it was just he didn't get his chance. You know what I mean? And
well, he wasn't right too, right? It takes you need a full year to recover from your blown knee. Now you need a full year to get back to where you was. Yeah, and that's the part y'all saw when it came to playoff. I mean, when it came to preseason games, right? I want to say the 2023 season, he had some preseason touches. He was the only running back that had touchdowns during preseason, but he did not look like he looks now. And that's why I'm trying to say, I've been following this kid from day one. He now looks like he did in college. He is now ready to ball. That knee is fully healed. He's ready to rock and roll. And I'm telling you, if given the chance, I don't see him just lightly giving it up. I'm just telling you right now, the kid can ball, man. The kid can ball. I'm just telling you, when he gets the chance, the real chance, I don't see him giving it up. Yeah.
Yeah, so even Loon saying, I'm right with you, Turvey, says when we first got him, his tape reminded me of Josh Jacobs. Yeah, he's a little bit smaller back, but yet at the same time, I don't care how big you are, small you are, what the fucking it is. Look at Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's a fucking linebacker with the you know what I mean? Like, and that boy can move. You know what I mean? As long as you can actually do your job, whether you're hurt or not like that, there's all these redemption stories. You look at, like, you know, guys like our head coach. Our head coach pretty much basically You know what I mean? He was nothing. He was basically got himself there and whatever not. So wherever you get in and you fit in and you can start making moves and start doing what he's doing right now, like Gabe was saying too, is like a lot of these guys that wouldn't get burned, now they're getting the burn because of because of everything. So I don't know much about him. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I don't really watch a lot of college ball. You know what I mean? I watch, local, whatever, when I watch a couple big games here and there. Right. But yeah, if you guys are saying that that's what he is, and a lot of people were saying that before, I mean, he's showing it and he's earning his spot. So am I like, hey, this is gonna be our next guy? No. But is he gonna be a good backup, a good one, somebody that can stick around? You know what I mean? Especially how they're moving forward. I'm okay with it. Yep. But
I mean, it all depends on who you draft though too. And then that's like Turf said, dog. Like if this guy is the guy and that guy that you draft just pushes this guy to be even more better.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Like it's all wait and see. But I mean, as of right now, I
want somebody better than him, bro. I want somebody better than him. We always should want somebody better than him.
I think he's showed enough to be at least, obviously, not to ignore, picking up another back. You know what I mean? Because what we see out of him, that it's not enough to ignore, another pickup of a back, but it's enough to give this guy another shot, as one of our backs next year.
Bingo. You know what I mean? And not sit him in the practice squad, not give him some touches, and wait 5-6 games to have the lowest running output we've ever had in Raider history. Because that's what we're dealing with right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the worst production of running the ball in Raider Nation history. Oh,
Snap is in the building, man.
Snap is in the building.
Snap, you guys don't know, our other co-host that's actually out because he had a liver surgery. He had a replacement, actually. That's Anna, which is Gravy's wife. So Bucks appreciate you, Anna. We do appreciate it. Hopefully you're right there. You're right there with Gravy. Tell him we said what's up. You already know what's up. We had a good conversation with Gravy last week.
Yes, we did.
He's getting better.
Good, man.
Yep, he should be home in, I think they said 21 days or something like that.
Yeah, so, he's sounding good, man. He's sounding good. I mean, sounds like he's eager to get back on live too, for sure, man. Like, he's short of breath, but he was talking. Talking.
And then she said, I think we got the 20 because, shout out for the 20, but I think she gave it to us because we're on time today.
That's
there you go. Yeah.
I like it.
Time more often now.
But shit, yeah. Shout out Gravy, man. Glad you're getting better, man. You guys give prayer hands up to Gravy. But I know you guys don't have to send $20, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'll take you guys out to dinner when you guys come home. So
JNN, Galindo, right here, man. We're about to rip it, man. We're about to rip it.
Yeah. So yeah, but getting back to the record, man. Jesus, yeah, there's a lot of records that we're breaking this year.
Yes.
But there's a couple of things that I start up over here and stuff like that. Shout out Danny C. And I didn't give a shout out to a lot of people in the chat real quick because we were just kind of getting into it. Let me give a couple shout outs. We got Robert Penny in the building, Myra's in the building, Cool Kev, Arkham's in the building, All Eyes, Desert Raider. Who else did I see in the building? Dark Side, did I say Dark Side, Carlos, Looms in the building. Man, there's a bunch of people. Raider Paul, I said Myra.
People in the building. Good shit. Thank you for being here.
My opinions in the building. Ciders in the building. You know what I mean? Shout out to all you guys. I appreciate you guys. Put that like button on, and we'll be here.
Hey, you know what though? The one thing I will say about today, though, the biggest thing about today, I could see, what I've liked about the last 2 weeks is that like I said earlier, we could easily quit on these games and look like those embarrassing games like earlier in the season, but we're not. And at least it's making me sit down through like the 4 quarters and actually watch the game and be interesting and shit like that, which. I mean, I like seeing that, you know what I mean? Especially I think the defensive line really, really fucking, I think those 2 first drives, dog, they were punking our defensive line. You know what I mean? They were really punking our defensive line. And after that, like the whole rest of the game, it looked like, you know what I mean? Well, up until I think the, final drive, most likely, you know what I mean? I know that there was a big play where one of their third string running back did break. You know what I mean? When they went up by a touchdown or so, or by like 8 points. But I think up until that point, though, our defensive line was, getting at it. You know what I mean? Adam Butler, You know what I mean? Fucking Tyreek was in there in a couple plays, you know, and they started adjusting to where, you know what I mean? Like Baker was not, you know, fucking getting rid of the ball early. And then a lot, you know, you've seen how they made the adjustments to where a lot of those defensive linemen were now putting their hands in throwing lanes and shit like that, to where it made them hold the ball a little longer to like, and that was, you know, enough time for other guys there to get there on time. Which the guy that I have to give it up to, dog, and I hope that we look good, I think, into like keeping him, because I think we could probably get him, because we were the ones to kind of rejuvenate his careers. Le'Veon Chason, man, that dude's been balling, man.
Yeah, he's doing his thing.
He is doing this thing.
Shout out to Cider real quick. I'm not gonna say the whole name, bro. I just can't do it. So, Raiders, shout out for the 199. Appreciate you, Cider. So he says not paying Coots for more than 1 year deal. Yeah, there's so many different things, man. I think
the emergence of Chason is going to make it hard for Coons.
Yeah,
that's the hard part.
Very hard. And that's what we need. That's what we need. We need everybody's decisions to be hard. That's right. Yep. That's what we need, and we're nowhere close to that right now.
I like the shit that Chason has done, and I also like, which people are probably gonna be like, I mean, he hasn't really done that much, you know what I mean? But Tyree is playing a lot better from what we've seen earlier in the season. You know what I mean? Like, and that's. I mean, at this point, I know he definitely isn't no number 7 pick, but if we could get whatever improvement out of him, that's gonna be a plus. You know what I mean? That's gonna be a plus, because I think we weren't expecting also, you know, the emergence of Chason too, which I think that's putting a little bit less pressure on Tyree, but Tyree just hopefully he just keeps getting better. You know what I mean? And it is looking like reps is what he needed, because he is getting better with that. So you know what I mean? So hopefully that's with more reps, he just, you know what I mean? Because he has the size, he has everything too, bro. He has everything there for him. You know what I mean? At his disposal. Now, like, just can we put it all together? You know what I mean? Can we put it all together? Because he can be, dog. Like, he can be a really, really good player, but I just hopefully he could get a little bit better at a time. It's not there yet, but I just like the whole defensive line's fucking response after that first quarter.
Yeah. Yep. Shout out Myra, and talk about different players and stuff like that. I think we'll bounce off of that real quick. I'll bounce off to Tyree. I think Tyree is one of those cases to where it's like he's going to need that third year. Well, he's going to get to that third year. And no Gravy, we had this whole thing and stuff like that. Shout out Gravy, man. And he can't.
There's no other choice at this point. At this point, there's no other choice.
I can't stand him either.
Yeah, so
at this point, there's no other choice. He's going to have to get that third year, because he's not there yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you don't get there in his third year, like, I know that for a 7th round pick, I know that they're like kind of like there for 4 years, but I mean,
he's gone. He's gone.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying, like, if you don't, there's no great improvement after, I think, like, probably next year, because he still is kind of cheap. So I think, but who knows, man? Because there's gonna be, I think, with the money available, there's going to be a lot of cuts and shit like that too, though, because just to make roster, you know, fucking moves, like just to make like roster openings and shit like that too. But we do need depth. We need depth though, so we're not in any, I think, in any position to also like be like cutting any guys that are getting better. You know what I mean? Because if they are getting any better, we do got to at least use them for depth. You know what I mean? Because that's one place where we see that we hurt too. Because with all these injuries, we've seen how bad our depth is.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, with Tyree and stuff like that, I think he's just gonna have to stick around, and that's pretty much it. This kind of like we're stuck with him. We're stuck with the bill in a sense.
I think we're stuck with them for at least 1 more year. Yeah,
at least 1 more year, stuff like that. So so that's pretty much moving forward. But you're looking at guys like Spillane that need to get paid. You're looking at Kason that's, you know, they're saying that we need to pay him as well. But one of the main guys, and I was thinking about this as well, and it was before Myra brought it up, but I got it right here on the screen. She said, "Do we hold on to an injured Hobbs? Hobbs is great when he's on the field. He's,
Right.
you know, his percentage is very, very high as a slot cornerback, but he is injured every single fucking
I think it all depends on what's available in free agency.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if the difference in pay and you know production is there, you know what I mean? Like where you can get somebody that you could probably play almost the same, because Hobbs is up for contract, so he ain't gonna get paid, I think, cheap. Like either way, like his contract is like he's gonna get paid by somebody. I think somebody will pay him, probably not the greatest, but like he's probably not gonna get the greatest contract, but he's gonna get paid. So to where we have to think is the trade-off with somebody else in free agency, you know, worth it, or is it worth him bringing it back? I think that's all it's gonna be. Like who's available out there in free agency? Like are there gonna be guys good enough to make that trade for? Like I know it's free agency, but like are we gonna be able to just let go of Hobbs and pick up whoever off of, you know, free agency, even though they might seem better on paper, but are they gonna fit in this scheme, or are they gonna, you know, because then again too, like Hobbs has been in this system, and I know the injuries are you know are a problem, but it's all fucking, you know, it's a trade-off, bro. Like what are we looking for? And is I don't see, is there big time fucking, I haven't really looked at the free agency class coming up now. Like I think I have to take a bigger deep dive into that to see if there's like, what are the Raiders even in a position to get rid of a Hobbs or their fucking defensive backs that they have coming back, like even a Epps, you know, coming back off an injury. You know what I mean? Like because those guys are fucking free agents, as much as people want to say they're injured or whatever like that. Like some of those guys are going to be big time free agency on the market too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A Hobbs, a Epps or somebody like that. Like those guys are going to get paid. Like other teams are going to be looking at those guys too. So we have to look in like if they're beneficial to us bringing them back.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, please.
No, I was just gonna say Hobbs is a tricky special situation.
Very.
Like you stated, Hobbs is he's the best guy on the field at his position when he's on the field. But when he's not on the field, it's a problem, and it's been not on the field every year. And I'm a huge advocate. He's the first rookie's jersey I've ever purchased, and I'm a huge fan. And I think Gabe said a lot, meaning that you can't just get rid of Nate Hobbs and think that that's going to be replaceable. You're going to find him in the draft. You're going to go even get somebody in free agency. He is literally a special, unique situation because of the position. It's slot, right? Yes, he cannot play corner. We see that. We know that. That is not something he can do. But guess what? Most corners cannot play slot, right? So it's a specialty skill set.
So what would you consider then? Even though it's slot corner, you can't, you know, so slot corner can't really play, you know, I think a slot corner is more like a free safety, strong safety.
I mean, they're in between. That's what it's the hardest position. Think about it, because
they also got backer fucking, you know, responsibilities too.
And then you always have a release on either side. You're not playing the corner. You're not playing the edge where you know you got the sideline, where you know you got the interior line. That you don't have any of those things, and it's really, really hard to play that position. That's why it's actually easier to find corners than it is to find true slot guys like that.
Yeah,
it just is.
Yeah,
So we're not going to be able to just replace him, if you will. I think we're going to have to deal with the pain of his lack of being available on a regular basis, and hopefully he takes the deal that is right, that makes sense for us to do it on both sides.
So usually in this situation, after the first 4 years and they produce, and you know, because at one point Hobbs will be looked at or is looked at as one of the best slot corners in the NFL.
Correct.
Well, that was one of the reasons why Amik was a big loss, because he was one of those guys that can kind of move in and out a little bit, and I wasn't like I didn't think, you know, Amik was the best corner, but he was very solid as a player, bro, and like he made plays. He was in right places at right times, bro. Like, and Amik was a big. I think Amik was a big loss, at the beginning of the season because him and Hobbs there, like it gives Hobbs, like it makes Hobbs, I think, a better player too, just because you don't the drop off is not as much, and then it also helps him out to be like you don't have to count so much on Hobbs when they had Amik on there. You know what I mean? Amik there to like give him time off on plays, or you know what I mean, like where he had to where he kept Hobbs, I think, more fresher on the field. So we're like, I think that too. Like I think that's what's gonna be important. Like these reps that DCAM is getting, and all of these guys that are getting, like these guys are all gonna be there. Like that's why it's so big. You know what I mean right now, because Hobbs, I think, is important. I think for me it's important to keep because I don't think you're gonna find a guy like that. Like he when he's on the field, like I think like I've seen him get burned. Don't get me wrong. Like people are gonna say like that he gets burned on sometimes, but he plays like a fucking one of the better linebackers when he's out there. You know what I mean? Like he could time a blitz very well, dog. He disguises it well. He has, great coverage with some of these faster, more shiftier guys. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's hard to find guys that can cover those positions. You know what I mean? So I think it's just gonna be like like Turf said, bro. Like we gotta hopefully he can. Like I'm not gonna say that's just gonna go away all of a sudden. Like he might miss some games still. Exactly. But hopefully he can get, he can get over it a little bit to where he can stay on the field a little bit more. But that's where it's gonna be, I think, the depth, because when you have to hold guys out there for, plays at a time, because they're, like the depth is just not, I wouldn't say not reliable, but like it's just a drop off. It's a big drop off. So the importance of keeping those guys in a little longer, or keeping those guys in for more plays than they sometimes should, or something like that. It's like, just the risk of injury could be a little bit less. I think the depth is a little bit more important than getting rid of Hobbs or trying to replace Hobbs. I think let's get some depth for him. You know what I mean? Let's get some depth for that, because I like our three corners, but we need depth. We see when they go down, Jacorian's down right now. Fucking Epps went down, which I like Palomalu and all that shit, but we need more guys. I think there's in this passing league, dog, like you need fucking corners in abundance, and for sure our linebacking. I think in the draft, I think that's where it's going to be the most important, but we have to address that shit too. I like Spillane, but we need to address that shit.
Yeah. So my thing is, I want to keep him overall. But my biggest thing is with Hobbs. Yeah, I do. But I think the prototypical thing of what Graham was trying to do, I think last year, and when they were bringing certain people in, they kind of want to have guys that are specialties, and number one, number two can be interchangeable. A lot of the guys have the same kind of body style, same length, same height. You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of got to have these guys be specialties in the slot, on the number one, on the number two. You know what I mean? Bennett had to grow into it, but the thing is, though, it's like to turn around and to prototypically get those guys to be where they need to be is going to be very, very hard. And the thing is, though, because these guys have earned, especially going into their second contract, usually corners, anybody on that type deal, when they go into that second contract, what ends up happening is they get that 1 year deal, or they get a big deal. Most likely, looking at Hobbs, he's going to look for that big deal, and we might not be able to pull it, because look at the couple million that we're losing on the running back right now in Josh Jacobs. So I don't think he's, Telesco's going to be like, well, here's the bag for you. You know what I mean? Let's go back to when you first started, how much games, how much you're effective, what we lost by. It comes to a point, if you're not on the field, and that's going to injure for us as the Raiders, even though we have all this money, we're going to have to pay linemen, we're going to have to pay a bunch of different people. I think he kind of falls short, even though he is that, that prototypical number one guy, but he's not on the field. So we need someone that's going to be on the field. Now, if you turn around and have Palomalu come in, give him that shorter, that little bit of contract, because there was at one point where he was going to take over slot. Say Epps does come back and Epps goes back up, then hey, you got Palomalu that's been playing his ass off and been doing his thing. So, there's a possibility that Palomalu, like any Raiders are saying right here, says he said let Palomalu walk. I won't let him walk. I think he's a good.
I haven't even seen Trey Taylor though either.
Yeah.
And that
but
was
that's
great.
part of the problem. That's part of a problem. We haven't seen him yet, so we don't know what we can count on when it comes to.
Exactly.
I know he was on IR, right? I know he's coming back and all that shit. I think it's more getting him into. I don't know if it's they want to even try him out there, but I would like to see him out on the field before the season ends. You know what I mean? To see what we got out of him. But I mean, he was the one.
You're only going to lose confidence in that play. Yeah. We're not winning anything. He hasn't been out there all season. Coming off an injury, I don't think you gain anything putting him out here this season.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just want to see where he can gain. Let him get They did that with McCormick, and that's why I was okay with the way that this whole McCormick thing went down, because I knew he wasn't ready. Now he's ready, though. So you're going to hear me woofing and barking about him all the time. But he wasn't ready, clearly, his first year. And even his second year, I saw him in preseason. So I didn't say too much. Obviously, I was still talking about the kid and letting people know who he was. But I wasn't championing for him like I am now, because he's ready. I'm telling you, he's ready. If y'all, I don't know what else to tell you, but that kid is ready to play right now.
Yeah. So-called Sal was saying right here is like, I'm gonna see where I can find it. I thought I just had it real quick. Yeah, he's saying signs Hobbs to a cheap contract. The only thing, Sal, and shout out Sal, bro. Thank you for pulling up. The only thing about the cheap contract, none of these guys want a cheap contract.
Right, they're not going to take it.
Yeah, they're not going to take it, and then they're going to start looking at different offers. We're talking about it. Robinson got a nice paycheck when he went over there. You know what I mean? And he could have stayed and stuff like that, and but he got that nice paycheck, and it's especially in the new rebuild.
It's going to matter like on who's available out there, though. Like, and is it gonna be easy to go away from Hobbs? You know what I mean? Like, if they could bring somebody in on free agency and they don't make it's if it makes it easy for them to be like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, they give them an offer, but if they already have somebody signed or somebody else in mind, I think they're gonna stay firm and if he don't want to take it, they're gonna let him walk. You know what I mean? Because his injury shit is a big issue, but I think that's it all depends on that and who they can bring in. You know what I mean? If they are going to replace him, who they could bring in. You know what I mean? Because they do have the money. I mean, I'd rather it be used on building that offensive line. You know what I mean? Because even though the offensive line is playing better, I mean, I do see a lot of improved offensive line. I do think for sure we're going to need a guard, and I do like the improved play since the beginning of maybe the seventh game from Colton, but Colton is getting up there in age, so we are going to need, we're going to need offensive line help for sure. I think that it is getting better, and it has got fucking considerably better from the beginning of the season. You know what I mean? But we are going to need to address that, and I think that's going to be the most important, especially with bringing in which I think that it's almost like a for sure thing, a young quarterback. He's going to need that protection. You know what I mean? And that's why I keep saying too that I think Sincere's good, and I like what I've seen out of him. But that's why I think too that, like we were saying earlier, it doesn't get me away from drafting a running back, because that's also going to be another big important piece that a young quarterback's going to need to a good running game. Yeah, good running game, and what's also already in his favor is he has great tight ends. I think Mayer showed today that he could be a good tight end, man. Like Mayer got hands, man. Like he showed he can ball. Exactly. Like Mayer can ball, bro. Like I know people sometimes the attention could be a lot on Bowers or whatever like that too. And Bowers is fucking the truth. That's that's an understatement. But Mayer showed today that I mean, other than his his personal shit or whatever like that, Mayer could ball. Mayer was a great tight end in college, dog. He was a number 2 pick for a reason. You know what I mean? So it's I think that's gonna be the best friends for a fucking a young quarterback too. You know what I mean? Get an offensive line help, another great run game, and you know what I mean, these tight ends.
Yep. No, I agree, bro.
We're set up though, man. We're set up perfectly. We are set up perfectly, especially right now. We're the number 1 pick. It's the only silver lining. You know what I mean? So we're there. We're right there. I think everything is there for us in the offseason. Like, and it just scares me the fuck, like, because everybody does. Even though I think that it's too obvious that it's gonna be hard to mess it up, especially with the Brady connection and all of that shit. I think we're gonna get Shador. Is he gonna work out? That's still to be told. That's still another day. You know what I mean? That's still another conversation because I mean that's obviously the most important thing. But I think as far as getting the guy, I think it's there for us. Dog. We're gonna go get a quarterback. What we want, I think it's there for us. You know what I mean? What we think, what especially almost all of the nation thinks that's we need is a quarterback, some offensive line help, and you know what I mean. I know a lot of them think that we need a new coach too, but I think most of the fans agree that on those two things.
And that's what
I think that's made for us to go get this offseason. I mean, especially with where we're at in the draft and with the money that we have. That's made for us to get to address those two things. Now, how will they work out? That's still another story. But I think that we are going to address those things. Like, it's not going to be one of those things where I keep hearing everybody say, oh, the Raiders are going to be the Raiders, and they're still going to go draft a fucking offensive lineman at number 1 and do all of this shit. Like, nah, dog, I think we're going to address the things we need, but will it work out? Because that's still another question.
Hey, right. See, this is the thing. This is the thing for me, bro. I'm so used to the Raiders' dysfunction. I think we need a punter. We need a punter, bro. Like, first round pick, let's go. First Raider Nation Live, we're getting a punter. I'm going for the best punter in the NFL. Not even the NFL, not even the NCAA. I'm going the best punter in soccer.
I love it.
At number one overall,
at the number one spot, bro. The number one spot, number one overall. It's not even gonna be dedicated for the draft. No, I'm fucking with you. But see, talking about that, you know, and the offseason is coming, and that, yes, we're getting the quarterback. Some people say our head coach can't.
Wait. One question, because I know you guys hear the chatter. If I want AP, trust me, I want to keep AP because I think that he deserves a chance, I guess, to have those things available to him where he's going to be able to go get the quarterback he wants and go address his offensive line with the money that's available to him and all that shit. But I will say, I've never been on that train of hating on Dion. And if Shador were to come, dog, I definitely, if AP is not the guy, I would definitely and 100% on that primetime train. That's the perfect fucking. I think that's the perfect thing for if we were to go a different route. I know people are going to fucking say that it's too much of distraction, all of that shit, but it's Vegas, bro, and he's won everywhere he's went. I think he's meant. I think at one point, I think it's destined for Sanders to end up in the NFL, and I would want it to be here though. Fuck it.
Yeah.
The buzz that he's gonna bring, the shit that he's gonna. I think that would be, if we go away from AP, that would definitely not make me angry. Yeah. If we go that route.
So yeah, I was gonna go ahead, sir.
I was just gonna say I hate to burst people's bubble with this whole Deion Sanders thing, but the guy does not want to coach NFL. I mean, the sweet spot is where he's at. It's just facts, reality. I mean, I'm telling you, he's that guy that he already said it himself. He's at that level. He's going to expect you to be a gold jacket wearer, and train, compete, and play like that. And if you can't do that, he will be too frustrated with you. I mean, he was frustrated with his own teammates because they didn't strive to be, you know what I'm saying? So he's already told everybody it's just no place for him.
Especially with that 5-star. I don't think he's going to leave that 5-star.
Exactly. Why would he do it? Exactly. Why would a kid like that flip, knowing he's got a real legit possibility that this man might leave? It's not going to happen. Yeah,
that's the biggest okay, that could be the biggest for sure roadblock. I think that shows a lot of people okay, I don't think he's gonna make that type of a move where I'm pretty sure he just promised this kid, you know what I mean?
It's just not gonna happen. I feel bad, but
yeah.
And I I don't even know if I would want Dion. I personally, I mean, I am happy that we have defensive coordinators now and we're defensive heavy. But
I want to stay with AP. That's why, like that was. That's why
I do too. But if we're not going to stick with AP, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I want to go so heavy-handed on the defense again. But I mean, I'm just thinking out loud now. I don't want AP to go anywhere.
Yeah,
I think getting him a good offensive coordinator. I mean, Scott Turner, I know that the offense has been more balanced and all of that shit, but there's definitely going to be, and we have to definitely look in I think, obviously there's still room, you know, the rest of this year, I think, but I don't think that that's going to make a difference of, we have to go look for an offensive coordinator that's going to be able to gel with what type of quarterback we're going to bring in.
Correct.
So, yeah. So Danny C was saying, like, you know, a lot of people are back and forth with it. New head coach, new offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator, I'm not mad at what he's doing. Both quarterbacks put up 100 yards, you know what I mean? Except for, you know, their own personal mistakes, you know what I mean, with the the interceptions, that overthrown ball by Ritter on this fucking fourth pass. 80,
bro, the interception that he threw when he was trying to get Bowers is like,
yeah.
Like, I understand. Like, first of all, you don't throw that ball because he's covered like that. You just, you know what I mean? Throw it into the ground at his feet or something.
Right.
But if you are going to try to maybe a hero or shit like that, you throw it to his outside shoulder. Why are you throwing it to the inside if that's when the coverage is at, bro?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, that's what's frustrating, because it wasn't a tough throw, bro. They were 5-6 yards away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's what, like, that was like, come on, man. That's exactly why we need a quarterback, regardless of how good he plays at times or whatever. Right. You know what I mean? Like, we need a fucking quarterback.
So shout out Sider, bro. But everyone's saying they're done with AP. They're over it, bro. So then let's get this straight. When Mark Davis decided to hire AP, he said, "You know what? Check this out. I am not going to give you the fucking quarterback that you wanted in, you know, Jayden Daniels. I am not going to give you this. I am not going to give you that. I'm going to give you the guy that I think is going to make better decisions over here. So with the Sofer and Telesco, I'm not going to give you anything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you nothing. You're going to have a losing season, and then you're going to be kicked out. Or you're going to take this ride with us, and this is what we're going to do." And shout out to Carlos and Fuego. He's saying an Uber driver said, AP family member said that Mark Davis said to AP that we're tanking, and now it's not too hard to see, especially for Sanders. So if you're looking at it like that, and not necessarily just sitting on that, I mean, that's just hearsay shit. But for me personally, I don't see the Raiders doing this. I don't see them just giving them 1 year and then that's it, and then you're done. We're good. Appreciate you. But the Raiders have done some crazy ass shit. So I do not see it happening.
Right.
But overall, what he has done and how he's kept this locker room together and somewhat that's in shambles with all the injuries, not getting what he wants, he's still standing high, got a smile on his face and showing that, hey, you got to just go through the punches. And I like shit like that. Now, as far as him coming in and having the same effect that as like, you know, what's the name? The coach for Harbaugh. You know what I mean? But the effect that Andy Reid when he came to the AFC, he had Donovan McNabb, he had all these different, he's had quarterbacks. These coaches coming in have quarterbacks. They have offensive line. You just got to put a couple things. Harbaugh came in. If Harbaugh came in with Gardner Minshew, bro, no.
He wouldn't have came in with Gardner.
Yeah. Then we're gonna be like, Harbaugh, bro. He
not
has
doing it.
Justin fucking glass jaw Herbert, bro. That guy, regardless of whatever, bro, he can play. I'm not gonna not knock him. I'm not gonna knock him. You know what I'm saying? He's playing. He's fucking battling it out right now. You know what I'm saying? 2 touchdowns back to back. He's caught up. Only down by 2. A lot of these coaches that first come in have fucking quarterbacks. There's one coach that didn't have a quarterback, and that was fucking Dan Campbell when he had a quarterback, but he couldn't do nothing. He had no supporting cast around him. So all I'm trying to say is, I don't see it happening like that. But there's a strong possibility that there is. I don't know.
I think something has to like wow. I think something has to like wow fucking like Mark Davis. And I just don't think there's a wild dude out there right now to like that's just like, okay, he's just head and shoulders, that's the perfect guy for the job and all of this shit. There's just not that guy out there. Nobody could just point that finger at that guy. Like nobody could. Everybody says, you know what I mean, the offensive coordinator from the Detroit, but is he gonna that's the thing though. Like he's gonna be coveted by a lot of teams. You know what I mean? That's probably gonna be the number one choice for a lot of teams. You know what I mean? And hiring a coach, first of all, they're going to have to look at the position that we're in the draft. Like, can it entice him? Yeah, I think because where we're at in the draft and all of that shit. But he's going to have that. Those guys are going to be looking at a lot of, I think, opportunities where they can go coach. I think it's like, I'm with you, Lo. Like, I think 1 year, I don't think it's, especially what was given to him, you know what I mean? And in the off season where, like I said it over and over, where it wasn't an off season where, yeah, we had some money, available to us at times, but we were able to like kind of piece shit together. But it was never just at the beginning of free agency, we had this much money, you know what I mean? Like we had to open up money, we had to restructure contracts, we had to do this shit and that. This year we hit the off season with a certain number, and that's what it is. You know what I mean? We're going to be able to hit the ground running when free agency starts. You know what I mean? Like, because we're gonna have almost like an open checkbook type shit, dog, with the amount of money that we're going to have. You know what I mean? And I think the draft position, I think that as of right now, it's like the best thing for any coach that they're gonna want to try to bring in. You know what I mean? Because I think they're gonna look at that and they're gonna be able to. They know that they're going to be able to come in and choose whatever quarterback they want. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, there's going to be probably some pushback if they don't choose Shador because you know who the part owner is. You know what I mean? But what I mean is, like, I think that's going to be talked about in whatever the interview process is. You know what I mean? Like, this is the guy that we're planning to draft here. You know what I mean? Like, Telesco's probably going to be in those meetings to where, you know what I mean? Any coach that's going to be brought in, they're gonna be told ahead of time, like, this is the guy that we're planning on drafting and shit like that. So it's going to be like, that's going to be part of like who wants to actually come here, who actually wants to come here to fucking coach Shador or something like that. And I think that's why I think AP is the perfect guy for it, because you don't have to go out there looking for. I think Shador will thrive under this type. It's just go get the right offensive coordinator for him, dog. Yeah. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, and this is the thing. Like, shout out Biggs, man. Biggs put a little something up here for me. Appreciate you. Shout out Myra too with the $2. She said Dion and MC Hammer are going to bring back the parachute pants. Let's go. I'm done. I guarantee you. Because if I had a pair, I guarantee you Turf had a pair.
All day, bro. All day.
What, the pump?
You even have the matching sequence. I guarantee he had the V-neck with the gold chain on and sitting there like got the big old.
Had it all, baby.
I didn't do all that. No, but shout out Biggs. He goes, man. He goes, I love you, Lo. He goes, but damn, he's 7-15 and first 22 games plus. He's given the Raiders the worst losing streak in the history of the team. If you fire McDaniels, he's got to go to.
McDaniels took over a playoff team.
Disagree,
bro. A team that was in shambles. AP took over a team that was in shambles, and McDaniels took over a team that was a fucking that was a playoff team. There's a difference.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference. And the other thing is, I mean, look at all the other organizations. There's a reason why we're the laughing stock of the NFL. I mean, you're not going to... I keep bringing Dan Campbell up because look at what the Lions look like right now. They're set for the next decade.
I keep saying.
They're set. And they went through 3 horrible seasons. Horrible seasons. 2 of those 3 were 2-15 or 3-14 seasons.
Yep.
And if they would have fired him, then where would they be now? What is wrong with everybody? Look at yourself. Like for the matter, like, would you fire yourself? I bet you everybody that's even paying attention right now will fire themselves if they realistically.
Well, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Held themselves accountable. Y'all are crazy, man. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I get firing McDaniels based on what he did. He didn't just lose a part of the
He
locker
brought
room.
in Jimmy fucking G.
Right, and he lost a whole lot. That what he did with the quarterback position was a fireable offense in itself. The fact that he brought a team into the preseason without a real quarterback was a fireable offense in itself. The fact that he got rid of the franchise quarterback without a replacement was a fireable offense in itself.
Yeah,
AP has done none of those things. Yes, he may have lost the locker room, but I've given the explanation as to every coach loses the locker room, no matter where you are in certain pieces. It's fractured no matter how good or bad your team is. The things just come to fruition if you're not winning. Winning solves and cures everything. No one's going to care about what groupie is hanging on to what superstar, etc., and your team and how fractured it is in a locker room when you're winning. No one cares about that.
exactly.
But the minute you start losing, I assure you, one superstar has his cronies, his crew. Another superstar has his followers and his crew. No locker room is non-fractured. I promise you. That goes from every level of every sport. Not every player believes in or follows that head coach. Even on Super Bowl teams, championship teams, there's always somebody that really doesn't care about the game. That's the last piece I'm going to put out here for y'all. I got a secret for you. There are quite a few dudes in the NFL that could care less about your parlay, could care less about their team's success or failure. They're going to work to get a check just like you. That's exactly what they're doing.
I just need management and Mark to be like, think with some fucking clarity, dog, and be like, you know what? We need to fucking some type of continuity. You know what I mean? At everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not gonna get that fired, people.
It's not going. It's nothing. It doesn't change for the head coaching position. You know what I mean? It needs to be everywhere. We need to get that type of continuity everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's like changing head coach after head coach after head coach. It's like that seems to be everybody's fucking seems to be everybody's solution. But how many times has that worked for us in the last 20 years? You know what I mean? And finally when we're like finally getting like some continuity with guys that we keep for more than a couple of years, where Jack Del Rio was finally starting to pick it up, and then they got rid of him. And then because they wanted to go for their shiny new toy and John Gruden, and then they went, and then John Gruden started horrible, and then he started finally picking it up, and then obviously the email shit derailed his shit, you know what I mean? And then it's just like an on and on saga thing where like you finally see somebody picking it up in the NFL and obviously it's because they were here to build what they wanted to build. They were here to see things through, even though they started the Raiders started 2-10 under Gruden. You know what I mean? He traded every single fucking player. Everybody was up in arms, but by the time he was gone, we were fucking cussing out the NFL because they were saying they were trying to fuck us again because all those emails and all of that shit. Finally, when Gruden was doing good again, you know what I mean? We started off 3-0 that season, and he was finally starting to pick it up. But continuity at that position, it doesn't change. Like we're gonna need some of that to finally start getting some type of winning coach or whatever. Like you just change coach after coach after coach. The players here have said it over and over. Max Crosby, like our face of our organization, has said it. That's part of the problem of changing the coach over and over. And like that's just, it's like, come on, people, like they're talking to us and telling us, and history is on that side of like that never works. Like, come on, we gotta be smarter than that shit. I think as a fan base, we gotta be smarter than that. That's just not just gonna work by changing coach year after year.
Yeah, me personally, like the best teaching method is loss. I don't. You fail. In order to win, you need to fail. In order to become a good leader, you have to fail. You have to go through adversity. You have to go through stuff. Everybody's path is different, but everybody's gonna have a fucking loss. And when you take those losses, you fucking stack, and then you learn from your losses and move forward. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't have the right tools. Say if you're changing a fucking tire, you don't have no fucking tools to do it. And then you expect to change the tire, man, you got to kind of do this and do that and fucking figure out a way, but you still end up with not a fucking changed tire. You see what I'm saying? The tire's still not changed. So It's just process. You know what I mean? If you look at the trajectory of his career and stuff like that, and I don't want to compare him to Dan Campbell. I mean, but it's a likely comparison with two disorganized franchises that had basically kind of the same start with this new head coach. Regardless of whatever, he didn't learn. He lost 15 fucking games. You know what I'm saying? With Matthew Stafford.
With all that prior experience, with all the prior experience that he had before that, he still lost 15 games.
Exactly.
But nobody's talking. But now that he won, now that he's winning, people want to say, "Oh, he now want to point to his prior NFL experience before that." They want to point to it now.
Correct.
But I bet you, if you were talking to them about this the year that he went 2-15, they would have been like, "Why the fuck did they hire this guy?"
Exactly.
They would have been like, "Why the fuck did they hire this guy?"
Exactly.
That's why I'm saying, bro. Like, it's like they want to point to that Dan Campbell experience. They want to point to that Dan Campbell experience prior to his coach getting the NFL coaching thing, but he started off just as bad or worse than AP did. So yeah, in hindsight, you could point at that and say, "Oh, look at like his prior experience is what got some here now." No, what got some here now is that they stuck with him,
and they built a team.
Exactly,
they built a team. They got number 1 draft picks for Stafford.
Yep,
and got a number 1 draft pick quarterback.
It's like our coaching situation is literally. Our coaching situation is literally almost like it mirrors the fucking definition of insanity. Like we do it over and over and fucking and expect different results.
There you go. Yep. I agree.
Yep. Yeah. So it's there's so much going to be talked about. So much is going to be moving forward, man. It's going to be good, man. I mean, I'm excited in a sense, just due to the fact that I hate the fact that we're losing. I don't ever fucking want to be like, fuck yeah, let's lose. But we got the number 1 fucking quarterback. We got the number 1 pick as of right now. One way or another, we're going to make a good move. And one way or another, the quarterback that we need, whether it be Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, I'm pretty sure by now everyone already seen the video of the little Dion and everybody at the fucking. It was there somewhere in Vegas.
That was last year. I think that was last year, but still, like,
yeah,
I understand that they're gonna bring it up at a time like this, but the only thing is that like it's still not. You still see it. Fucking Shedeur, like I think that one wasn't from last year. Shedeur passing by Vegas, you know what I mean? You know, just showing the fucking field, saying legendary and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's still everything points still to that, especially with being the number 1 pick, bro. Like,
right?
Their dream, obviously, they have not shied away from wanting to go play for Vegas or New York, right? Like, or whatever it is, their situation. But Vegas is still on their list. You know what I mean? So being at number 1 and that also being on top of one of their things that wants to be on their list, like for Dion has said it already too in the past, like he wants his son to be the number 1 draft pick. So like that works out perfect. Like if we're the number 1 draft pick and he has already said that he's comfortable with his son playing in Vegas, like that shit's like a perfect situation for us because it's like he wants to play there and like he's not gonna give any problems with it, dog, and it's just like it's already there. Like you're not gonna get no controversy or anything like that because it's already kind of been in the works, kind of almost. Like if you look at it, really, it's almost been in the fucking works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a new day, and the thing is, for me, I don't think the quarterback is just gonna be the only thing. It's gonna be a piece of the puzzle that's gonna make everything fall apart. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's where people kind of got like
biggest piece, but yeah,
offensive line, man. We need an offensive line.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, yeah, that offensive line, but like I watched the last game, they put up 52 fucking points to 0, bro. But a 3-8 team. But then the thing is, though, Sanders, he still needs a lot of room to grow. It's okay. See, this is the thing. It's okay if Sanders comes in next year and we got him and we have a losing season. He needed somebody in front. There's always going to be an excuse for the loss. There's always going to be an excuse. Someone's head's got to roll. Nobody
we need to see improvement.
And grind it out. Exactly.
See improvement.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna say, "Oh well, wait a minute. If we keep Scott Turner, they're gonna be like, oh, we should have kept Scott Turner because he's making him lose." But then Scott Turner is actually he's been getting some fucking yards on us. He's been giving us a little bit different.
Like, that's one thing that like, if AP even stays, that's one thing. Like, this has to look better next year. Like that, I am on the train of like let him get that one more year of his actual contract, what they signed him for 2 years. Right. Like let him work that out. Let him play that out. But if there's no, I'm not gonna shy away from it. Like if there's any struggle or anything like that, like of course we gotta look at other ways because like you want to give him time to also build that thing too, but you want to see some improvement. And I think I'm with you. I'm not gonna be to the point where like, oh shit, if we don't get to the playoffs, fire him. But like if we see improvement to where like we're there in games or like our quarterback, our offense, it is just sometimes situations or something like that, like. Then you got to stick with them because the continuity thing, you know what I mean? You're just going to get better, especially with, getting the guys that you want. Like, I think that's just going to continue to evolve and you get better, I think. But it's next year for sure is a big year. Though I think if no matter who we stick with, because somebody's coming in, regardless if it's AP or not, like they're going to probably have a number 1 or number 2 overall pick with a lot of money. So whoever comes in is going to have a lot of fucking pressure. But it's like you're not going to have a lot of time because you're going to have the number 1 overall pick. So people are going to expect, especially, how today's generation is. People are going to expect you to
win yesterday.
Maybe not win that first year, but you're damn sure going to be asked to win very fast.
Mm-hmm. At least show signs of improvement. This right here wasn't signs of improvement. This year wasn't signs, and we kind of knew it when we were debating on 2 quarterbacks that came after the fourth round.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the Wilkins move was good. We locked him in for 4 years, but then he got hurt. So it's like we're kind of going in the right direction. I do believe there might be a shakeup at defensive coordinator, even though I like Graham. Don't get me wrong. I think I like Graham, and I like his scheme and stuff like that. But we don't have the players to facilitate what he actually wants, like the cornerbacks that are fucking basically interchangeable. You know what I mean? So where they can back each other up. We don't have those guys that can play different positions. You have to develop them. So if Palomao's development is based off of Graham's fucking, and Morig, let's say Morig as well. Right. Both those guys' development is based off of Graham's fucking teaching and who he has gotten and stuff like that. Maybe you wouldn't want to get rid of a Graham, but yet there might have to be some type of shakeup. I think. Do
you get rid of Graham? Because that's another thing too, where like, this team's not the best, but this defense for sure is far from the fucking like one of the bottom defenses. You know what I mean? Like, especially with all the injuries, I think we are today. You've seen like obviously we started off horrible, but you've seen the defense can step up when needed. You know what I mean? And it's just like, if we go a different way, like we have to go with somebody that I think has proven that he's over and over could be a good defensive coordinator in this league, dog, because you're going to start all over again. You know what I mean? And you have a lot of young players. You know what I mean? Who are probably barely getting comfortable in this fucking scheme, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be, that's another thing to look at too. Like, of course, obviously it's how you finish the year, but that's a thing too. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of fucking Patrick Graham, but that's gonna be tough to look into. I think if we keep AP, I think Patrick Graham stays. You know what I mean? Because I think you got to see what you could do with this team with the different personnel. You know what I mean? I think with different personnel, with upgrades at different position, you know what I mean? Let's see what they can get there. And then if that don't work out, I think that's when you think, because you've seen when they're playing with some momentum and all that shit, last year at the end of the year where they were kind of trying to make a playoff run or whatever like that was, or, you know what I mean? Like you seen when they were like still, or just even trying to fucking, play for AP, like the team can't play good, dog, like when they're playing with momentum, but it's like and especially the defense. You know what I mean? The defense, that was no fluke. You know what I mean? Because that was a big, like a sample size. It wasn't just 2-3 games. It was 8-9 games, fucking where they were the number one scoring defense. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? Top 10. You know what I mean? Just top 10 defense overall. But that's gonna be big time too, now, because you don't want too many changing parts either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because if you have, I think, what you need, I think, to fill in holes. I think that's going to be the most important thing. Like, fill in the holes that you think you need and stay with the guys that are going to, because all of these guys know this scheme. Like, if you bring in a new guy, everybody's going to have to learn it together. So, you can't really help out the new guy because you're learning it yourself. But when you have 11 guys that have already played in the system for 3 years or whatever like that, they can help out the new guy. I mean, get him on board faster or something like that. So I don't think that Graham has lost it yet. But if one of these games gets ugly, you know what I mean, and all of this shit like that, I think that's could be something that we look at. But I'm not.
I mean,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know how we can say that when I think more than half of the defense is starting.
Gone.
Yeah, people are out. I just don't see it. I mean, we're talking one of the most educated defensive minds in football, and Patrick Graham, a Yale graduate who did play football at Yale. It's just asinine. I mean, the guy is looking at being a head coach. I mean, he was, I believe, courted by the Seahawks twice. Not just, right? He didn't have just the first round. He had 2 rounds of interviews. And he's going to continue to have rounds of interviews because he knows what he's doing. And it shows he knows what he's doing. He has a subpar team defensively and still is finding ways for it to thrive. So,
you seen the adjustments he made today. That team was getting pounded in that first fucking in that first quarter, and they made great adjustments, bro. They started putting their hands up in the fucking, in the throwing lanes and shit like that, and he just started calling more pressures to put more guys in Baker's face where he was making bad, obviously I know people are gonna say, oh, Baker was hurt and all that shit. Nah, Baker started because of that pressure that the defensive line was starting to bring, you know what I mean? And that pressure that Graham was bringing, you know what I mean? With that extra, the safety coming in, Morik, blitzing in, you know what I mean? And Bernie sending him on a blitz, you know what I mean? So it's just that Graham made those adjustments too, you know what I mean? Yeah. They didn't just send those blitzes like the defense out there just didn't say, hey, you blitz right now. Nah, that was by the defensive coordinator, you know what I mean? So it's and like Tur said, this defense has been very, very short-handed all year.
All right, so we'll take this last $5 real quick from Lord Buddy Bear. We're gonna get out of here, man. Hopefully we'll be live on Tuesday. Fingers crossed. But Lord Buddy Bear, thank you for the $5, man. Pretty. He says, I still hate Tom Brady, always will. He fumbled, and nothing he does can change the past. He will always be trash in my mind. He can't come back from that. Okay, hey, shout out for the $5.
I will always say that if he wins a Super Bowl, if we win a Super Bowl, I'll be like, hey Tom, if you had anything to do with that, then cool. I mean, but I'll tell you one thing, that as a player, I hated that motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a different story now because he is, a Raider owner. So yeah, I'm pretty sure the things that he's gonna do now in the future are going to try to benefit the Raiders. So I mean, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now because he could also fuck it up more too. So it's just because he doesn't have no experience, like people say. So they could be right, we could be right, whatever. You know what I mean? He can't be the best quarterback in the world, but you know what I mean? That doesn't always pan out. So, you know what I mean? We see the Michael Jordan situation, with the Charlotte and all of that shit. You know what I mean? Greatest basketball player ever, but it's sometimes it's different when you start getting into all of the away from the X's and O's and dollar signs and signs and fucking commas and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be interesting, dog. You know what I mean? Go moving forward with the Tom Brady shit with us. You know what I mean? Because he is part of this organization now.
Yeah. My biggest question is, think about it like this. Okay. So Tom Brady has no fucking idea of what to do as partial owner. I'm pretty sure he read books. He's played the game. He's done all these different things, but he has never, not once, ever been a partial owner of anything as far as the NFL is concerned.
Right.
So he is going to come in and make the changes, but our coach,
I just think the hope is that
play the game. Has never been a coach.
I think the hope is that he could be as good as owner as good as he was a quarterback. That's the
Right.
hope.
That's the hope.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, but it's a pass for Tom Brady, but not a pass for the guy that beat him in the Super Bowl twice.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying.
How about that NFL experience? Does that count as NFL experience?
No, it doesn't. I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. Does Dan Campbell have any? Super
I know
Bowls?
he has. I know Dan Campbell has some NFL experience, but I'm pretty sure he sat
He's got a lot of
out
it.
of the bench. I think he sat a lot of the bench, but and I'm pretty sure he was a cap. I'm pretty sure AP was a captain and a middle linebacker to where he pretty much called the defense. So it's like that's why I don't understand where like people want to knock his NFL experience type shit. Like so,
Right.
yeah, that's why they missed me with all the NFL experience type shit. Like I know it's different from like a player and coach like that, but like there's certain positions that translate to coaching positions, and NFL. I mean, in the NFL, middle linebacker, center, and like a lot of the positions, those are type of positions that translate to coaching, because you have to be a coach on the field.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'll end it with that.
I know. I mean, it's gonna be we're gonna be going back and forth. I know people are gonna fucking curse me out, and it's cool. We're gonna have a good time. We have a good time in the off season, man. It's gonna be a good time because it looks to me like greener pastures. It looks like greener pastures. You know what I mean? You know, we do got a number 2 draft pick. We can possibly trade maybe up more. And then I think Biggs was saying something that like we're picking like at 33 or something like that. So it's still the top 50. We get 2 top 50 guys.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And then if we're looking at top 100 guys out of what, 15,000 roughly players? You know what I mean?
What's the name we're talking about? Like they want to be drafted by the same team, though. Can the Raiders? That's what they were saying. I guess that was a question. Can the Raiders pull off?
Yeah.
The Raiders pull off a fucking Texas,
How many discussions?
a Houston Texans type move where they got Will Anderson and CJ Stroud.
I wish.
Yeah.
It won't
That
happen.
would be amazing. That would be fucking amazing.
Yeah, so for me, I'm excited about what's about to come, bro. There's gonna be a lot of good discussions, man. Turf, it's always a pleasure, man. Thank you for coming up, pulling up with us on Sundays, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
I do apologize to everybody. We have 56 people in the building. We have 60 at one point. Hit that like button on the way out.
Yes.
We were just
Like and
a little bit
subscribe.
busy this week, you know what I mean? But we will be live this week, I guarantee you.
Hey,
For
I
sure.
was in the same boat, bro. I was in the same boat. I was in Vegas for AWS reInvent for work, so I didn't get none of my normal streams in all week.
Yeah.
And that's why I couldn't come on Sunday because I was traveling to get there.
Yeah, I'll ask you about that all when we get off right now, stuff like that. Yeah, because you're talking about IT stuff. I just got my bachelor, so we'll talk right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But you guys, man, we appreciate you, Gabe. It's always a pleasure, bro. Like we will try to be. No guarantees, but we're looking at Tuesday, 7:00 like normal. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Thank you guys for pulling up. We appreciate you guys. You guys have a great week. Hopefully, you guys had a great weekend, better weekend. And yeah, man, Christmas is coming up, holidays and all that stuff is gonna be cool, man. But yes, we have a Monday night game.
Monday Night Football. We got Monday Night Football.
Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, so
there will be a
Monday,
special.
we're gonna end up being live.
Yeah, there'll be a special live next Monday for sure.
Yeah, hey, you know
we
what?
will go all week. We will go all week this week, but for sure because there always is a post game. You know what I mean? So we'll be live Monday too.
Yeah, for sure, man. So we appreciate you guys. You guys be safe. Have a great fucking week, man. And how we always leave this place on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Raiders!